Hey guys, what's up? It's Dan Weimer here, CEO and co-founder of Morpheus.Network, here with a very exciting video for you guys. I love doing product demos. I love talking about new solutions, partners, clients. But one of the things we love doing the most is introducing the community to brand new Morpheus family members. I'm here today with Noam Eppel. Noam, quick hello to the community.
Quick hello. Hey, everyone. Hey, Dan.
Thank you, Noam. And here to introduce you guys to who, if you've been in Telegram, you've already said hello to him possibly. This is our brand new account executive with Morpheus.Network, Merv Charles. Merv, how you doing today, my friend?
Doing well. How's it going, guys?
Going amazing as usual. Thank you so much, Merv, for joining us today. Community loves meeting the team members, finding out what they're doing with Morpheus exactly. So excited to introduce you to them, of course. Now, this is the most general question of the entire interview. Can you share us your journey in sales and also what motivated you to join Morpheus?
Absolutely. My journey in sales, I guess, date back almost 20 years now, but the most important part of it is probably about 15 of those solid years working in education. And upon completing my MBA, I decided, hey, you know what? I had a pretty nice job. I was doing well, working for Catholic University, a Washington Post company at the time. But I was tired of the large structure. And so I decided to put myself out there, began putting my sales skills to use and working with some small startups, and eventually got into partnership with Circuitronics. I was brought in to help boost sales for them, a small business out here in South Florida that wanted to add more revenue and more new business. And it was a great opportunity to work very closely with the CEO as well as the VP of marketing and sales. And that gave me my first introduction to the supply chain, working closely with a lot of procurement managers and within the manufacturing space, manufacturing PCBs for clients in the automotive space and retail, fire and security. And so it really gave me a strong understanding of how important every single role is within supply chain, from the purchasing, from the engineers who are developing the product, all the way through the manufacturing steps and phases, all the way through shipping, and then the final end, getting it to the end customer and even their customers, right? Following my time at Circuitronics, I decided to dive deeper into tech. That's more hardware, and got the opportunity to do a lot of consulting work with some large companies, mostly brokering a lot of strong relationships with banks and financial institutions, working mostly on AI, machine learning, business intelligence, and also big data. And over the last couple of years, mostly in SaaS and software, custom software development, really helping and driving digital transformation for a lot of organizations. To answer your last question, one of the main reasons I chose Morpheus is 2020. I think 2020 was an eye-opener for many people, right? Given that I've been a part of the supply chain in the past, and I'll admit I've caused some delays due to late shipments. We really got to see what huge disruptions and friction within supply chain and what that can cause for organizations, even all the way down to consumers like ourselves, right? And so seeing that you guys had a simple solution that really plugs into so many different softwares and integrate with so many different applications, in the seamless way that you guys do it with the no-code approach, I thought, wow, this is quite genius, and definitely seems like it can solve real-world problems.
Thank you, Merv, for that answer. Great answer. Supply chain is a fascinating and dynamic industry. And I wanted to ask you, what are some trends you're seeing within the supply chain industry? And how do you intend to incorporate some of those trends into your sales strategy?
Yeah, I think two of the biggest trends that I've noticed, just from, really trying to, absorb all of the knowledge that I can, but also using some of my real world experience, is two things. One, companies are desperately looking to adopt technology to solve some of their supply chain problems. When I was working with customers in the past, a lot of the documents they would send me were based on spreadsheets. Even within our own, my company as well, the company I worked for, we managed everything manually. We had many different spreadsheets. None of our systems spoke to each other. And although we paid a lot of money for top applications, we were still manually doing a lot of the work. We're starting to see some shifts there. The next thing I think is ROI. We're hearing a lot of talk about, really leveraging supply chain from an ROI perspective. How are we going to, reduce costs, right? Reduce late shipment fees, reduce perhaps penalties and tariffs. How can we improve this supply chain to also drive ROI? So I think those are areas that I believe, Morpheus.Network really worked to solving. Number one, I think the biggest thing is, and I know a lot of people out there would love to hear it, is I think our blockchain capabilities in being able to track the data, immutable data, trustworthy data, especially in highly regulated industries. I think that's a huge plus. Maybe a simple solution today, but carbon emission and different industries such as farming, highly regulated, pharmaceuticals, highly regulated. Everything needs to be documented, and I think we have a solution there that saves customers, a lot of our prospective customers, not only time and the ability to process a lot of this data and information, but also will save them a lot of money from fines and other issues.
Definitely, Merv. I can't agree more. You really break down our solutions really well and how they're going to be a huge benefit to our clients, your clients down the road as well. But let's get down to the position as well. When it comes to being an account executive, there are some key skills involved. Can you talk about some of those key skills and how you would rate yourself on them as well?
Yeah, I think the number one key skill, I don't know if this is being overlooked today, but it's probably my greatest attribute, is the ability to really build relationships. And I tend to have an ability to gain trust, upon meeting somebody, and they tend to view me as somewhat of an industry expert for whatever industry I've been in the past. And I think that's huge. Being able to solve customers' problems, understanding what their challenges are, being focused on their actual pain points and not necessarily on profit, I think goes a long way. And that goes to my personality type and a strong asset in being able to build relationships, establish a core strong relationship. And from that, I think what you'll eventually see is that profit per account tend to go up, right? And revenue per account tend to go up. Customers tend to do business with us longer and in much larger deal sizes overall, because you then tend to solve more problems for them. Other skill sets, I think, for an AE is definitely knowledge, and not just knowledge in your own product and not just knowledge in your industry, but also being knowledgeable on the customers that you're speaking with, understanding the challenges that they might face within their industry, understanding how their organization works, their organization stack, whether they're a wide organization, understanding how those challenges and pain points affect different parts of the company. That's very huge. And by understanding that, I think also gives us a unique opportunity to solve additional problems for companies that they may not have identified themselves. And in persistence, you got to be persistent as a sales guy. That's pretty much around across the board, regardless of which role you're in.
Mm-hmm. And Merv, you've got tremendous sales experience. I was wondering if you can share with us an example or a previous success story with a sale you were able to successfully close.
Yeah, I would say a lot. I mean, in sales, we typically all we're doing is hurdling and getting over obstacles and objections. It's the day in the life of a salesperson, right? I would say for me, one of my most successful moments throughout my sales career is a huge account that I landed with Newell Rubbermaid. For me, it's not just the total revenue and new business that we were able to bring in, which was north of $12 million. That obviously looks good on paper, but I think the length and time that it took for me to bring on this client, was over 6 months. And at this point, it probably was the longest acquisition that I had. But I was dedicated and focused, and what it took was me going through many different touch points throughout the organization. Really, as I mentioned earlier, understanding their org chart, understanding who's responsible for what. And, when one point of contact doesn't work, you move on to the next person and you continue to bring more value and more value. and that took a long time to bring that client on. But I think after the 6 to 8 months, it was definitely worth it, because we nailed a huge client that not only brought in north of $12 million in new business for printed circuit boards, but also the opportunity to tap into $500 million of new business for injection molded plastics, which was a different segment of our business. So that was a huge win for me, I would say. A very challenging win.
Merv, you got me super excited. You're talking sales, you're talking numbers. That's fantastic. But you know what? Listen, let's put you on the spot a little bit. Let's do a role play. All right. Let's pretend that I happen to be someone who's looking for supply chain software. I'm not tech savvy at all. You have to explain to me, how would you sell to me what Morpheus is doing?
I think the simplest way to answer this question, and this has been I've actually been giving this some thought as well, right, as I'm putting together my 2024 sales plan. And the simplest way I can think about it is this: from the sales perspective, most people that I will be engaged with, the last thing they're going to want to do is disrupt any part of their current processes, right? And I think one of the unique features that we have here at Morpheus.Network, as I mentioned earlier, is that we can plug into well over 130 different. We have well over 130 different integrations, and I think for us, as a salesperson, this is the biggest value proposition for us. They can easily plug into what we're doing without disrupting what they have going on, and the no-code approach makes life very easy for VPs of IT. Or chief IT officers or information officers. So one of the things is we're able to solve problems related to their shipment, receiving goods, tracking goods, track and trace, documentation, and it's I believe the platform itself is very easy to use, very simple to use. It doesn't require a lot. You don't have to be tech savvy, and I think that's the biggest thing. So if a supply chain manager is looking for a solution, they don't have to be tech savvy. It's not going to take them long to learn the platform, and the most important thing is it's not going to disrupt anything that they have going on. In fact, they can continue using the platforms that they're currently using, and we'll plug right into that as a middleware solution to solve a lot of their problems and give them clear visibility of everything at the same time. I think those key components is what really makes this a unique solution. And I mean, why wouldn't they use us?
Great answer. Yeah, absolutely. Merv, one activity we're doing together currently is defining your 2024 sales plan. Can you share a bit of that? Maybe share your anticipated activities over the next 90 days.
Yeah, for me, I want to tap into the areas where I'm strong at. So obviously I have a lot of experience in manufacturing. So definitely a lot of my customers that I'm currently working on, my target list is going to be in the manufacturing space, as well as retail and potentially farming. And so what I've done is I'm backing out from my end of year target, which is $1 million in new business. And I'm breaking that down on a monthly basis. And so what we'll get to is that 3 months will be basically a quarter of that annual target. And so obviously we're going to have to work on a number of things in terms of figuring out how many targets we're going to need to hit. Very metrics driven. But as we work those numbers backwards right now, I believe, based on our average deal size, we're looking at potentially bringing on perhaps anywhere from 7 to 10 new clients, right? That number may change, but I think 7 to 10 new clients to Morpheus.Network would be huge, and then we can continue to build on top of that. But just very high level, I guess the 50-foot overview for the next 90 days. Really understanding the platform a lot more, so we can do demos. Beefing up my supply chain knowledge. Obviously, I'm not a supply chain expert; I'm a sales expert. But for the first 90 days, it's going to be all about top of the funnel, bringing on new clients, having a lot of conversations, a lot of prospective clients, I would say, having as many conversations as we can, right? Load up the top of the funnel to try to get some business out of those opportunities.
And I think I have one more question for you, Merv. It's very hard to predict the future, but
Yep.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, where do you see the supply chain industry in, say, 2, 3, or 5, or say 3, 4, or 5 years? And also the company, where do you hope to see or anticipate that we'll be as a company in 3, 4, or 5 years?
Sure. I've been actually giving this a great deal of thought even before Morpheus.Network, and I hate to sound grim, but I think 2020 was somewhat of a warning shot, and I think most people who are living the world of chaotic supply chain and supply chain managers who are experiencing it from day to day will tell you that very little has changed since 2020 to prevent, another black swan event from happening. And I think it was a warning shot. And by that, I mean, I think within the next 5 years, we may experience another disruptor that is going to be a huge challenge for organizations who don't put the right measures in place to combat that. So I think for us, at Morpheus.Network, there's a huge opportunity to have conversations, educate a lot of our prospective customers, a lot of our partners, and really help them solve solutions. And I think we're placed in a unique position where we can actually help solve a lot of these problems without being a disruptor ourselves. So I think over the next 5 years, if we continue to move as aggressive as Dan and you have been, Noam, as well as James, everybody within the organization are very aggressive. And I think if we continue to stay on this pace over the next 5 years, we can be a huge player within the supply chain space. Especially, we're legitimately the only ones with the technology stack that we have that are who's also leveraging blockchain. So that puts us in a very unique space when we're talking about digital transformation, and definitely places us as a leader within this space for sure.
Yeah, Merv, you described that really well. Honestly, I'm ready to jump out of my seat and start cheering afterwards. I'm with you 100%, man.
Yeah, I believe
the White House
really
came out with.
believe in it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Right down from the White House itself coming out with, the need for supply chain digitization to happen, and the fact that we can make that happen without actually disrupting the businesses from processing and actually allow them to future-proof themselves without cutting off their business, without saying, oh, you got to rip out everything you're doing. That's a powerful statement right there. So I think we're in a prime position. And man, I can't express enough how happy I am to have you on the team. Right from the first time you interviewed with us, you thought you were awesome, and I'm so glad you joined us. I'm excited for the rest of this year, of course, because it is Christmas and all that. But next year, man, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Noam, any final comments for Merv and the community as well?
Yeah, I just wanted to share to the community, I guess, that it was a very long interview process. And so, Merv, huge congrats to you. There were a lot of people who applied to this job. And Merv, we absolutely loved your experience and personality and dedication and absolutely everything. So we're excited to be working with you. And I think 2024 is going to be a tremendous year.
Absolutely. I feel it as well. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, one of the main reasons I chose Morpheus.Network, and it was a long interview process for me as well. I always look at it both ways, right? You're interviewing the organization, and I think I briefly mentioned it earlier, but the leadership team. I think the leadership team is second to none here, from the board of directors all the way through, the day-to-day guys like yourself, Noam, Dan, James, as I mentioned earlier, and everybody else is a part of the team. You guys are an exceptional group of people to work with, and truly, I'm honored that I was selected and super excited to be here.
Man, that's very flattering, of course, and I will be the first to say that I love working with every single person that's part of the Morpheus family. This team is amazing. Merv, you are included. I know you're new, but you're included in that amazing team as well. So
love it.
So everybody, hopefully you guys enjoyed meeting Merv. Of course, I know Noam wishes you a great day. Any other questions for me, Noam, or Merv, send us an email, send us a message on Telegram. We'll get back to you. And as always, guys, have a great day.
Have a great day. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.